Hey everybody, Mike Saintamore here. We're going to look at crude oil. I'm looking at the monthly chart and I'm just looking at some of my previous analysis, and that was with the drop here. We had our head and shoulders inverted head and shoulders here. So we had our neckline and we had our break, and that's where the pending orders should have been made. Hopefully, some of you have got into it. So I know that a lot of people tend to trade on the shorter terms, but we're going to start from the long term and work our way down, just so you can get a sense of the scope of everything here. So currently we're in the move of a break of a head and shoulders. Now, this move has just begun. Really, it's just begun. I mean, it's only a few candles in. It hasn't even had a pullback yet since. So this is definitely long-term up. I'm very confident we're going to see at least the 50% fibble here and maybe touch this line here and just three bounces, 1, 2, 3. We may even break out of there this round. We would have to see when we're there. Currently, I'm looking at the MFI and the RSI, and I see strength, lots of room for bull. However, I do see slight weakness with the MFI here. So, that could indicate somewhere around this area here, we could very well start seeing a red candle. Now remember, like a red candle, like if you see here when it was going down, sometimes it makes green candles. That doesn't mean the trend changed. Or when it was going up here, we had a bunch of red candles, but it still went up, right? So we have to keep this in mind when we're trading. We need to understand the way it works, because we can't just think every tiny little move every single day there's a new resistance, there's a new support. You just can't keep over analyzing things. So this is a basic and advanced analysis of oil, and looking at it, you can just see that it's pretty basic, but there's not much more you need to know. So we're going to go over a few things here. So we have our key resistance here, the yellow. Our lime is a key support. We had another mid-key resistance, and we broke that. And it was a head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders. Excuse me. So it's only natural we're going to go up here. Will we go straight up here? I don't know. What I do know is that we are right on the verge of breaking this Fibonacci area here. So it's not a level, it's an area, or like it's not a pinpoint level, it's an area. So we can't just say it broke and it's good to go. I do look at here and I see each time it hit, it seemed to zigzag around it a bit. Even if it went to the next Fibonacci level or not, it's still, like you see this, it shot up, it broke halfway through, then it came down, broke halfway downward, then back up, then down, then up. So it's struggled here. Not this time, but this time it did as well. It came down, shot back up. And right here, not so much either, but we might expect something like that. I'm not sure the move is going to move like this. However, when oil breaks things, it really makes nice moves. So as you can see, when it broke this wedge here, it just shot right down. So this could be considered a wedge as well. So you had a head and shoulders inverted, you had a resistance line here, you had a wedge. So maybe a bearish pennant, which failed and went the other way instead. So lots going on here. This could easily just shoot up, so just be prepared for that. Now let's go down to the weekly, and we can see we're just above the Fibonacci level there. And it's that area we're gonna see some kind of resistance here possibly. However, I am looking at the MFI and the RSI, and both of them have reached oversold territory, which is really good. So on the weekly chart, we're starting to get confirmation that we've broken here. However, the RSI is already pointing down, but the MFI is not. So it's a kind of crucial moment here. You can see our way oversold area here and here. So we knew that this was going to break with this sign right here, and maybe this sign, but mostly this sign right here. So, or we suspected it, but you know, we thought we knew, whatever. Anyhow, I'm expecting that there could easily be some drop around here. You know, it's gonna go like zigzag around. It might not, but we have to be prepared for that. You can't just get a margin call from this one candle. This is on a weekly chart, but this is just like, look at this pattern. It's important, right? So maybe not so much the weekly, but at least one candle on the daily you should be able to handle. I mean, you really should be able to handle this stuff if you're playing the real chart. If you're playing the real pattern, you need to focus on the pattern, not the candles. So I mean, you may not be working on such a large time frame, which is understandable, but you should be able to handle a daily bar regardless of its size, for the most part. So going down on the daily now, we can see that we also now have a support area here. So looking at this, you can see that there's support and resistance in a channel here. So you should be able to withstand this whole channel. It's a lot, but it's only a lot if your lot sizes are too big. So if you take like 400 barrels of oil, that's probably a little too big. One line, and you're going to be out thousands of dollars probably. I don't want to do the math, but I mean, like, it's going to be bad. But look at this. Like, just because it goes down, it doesn't mean it's going. And if your lot size is too big and it gets down here after you've bought here, you're going to be scared. You might close the trade, you might hedge, you might just do something, particularly right here. So people who's always constantly looking for breaks, looking for the tops. So when it breaks down, they're freaking out. People start shorting, you start hedging, you start getting out, and all of a sudden, boom, it's still going up because it's a bullish trend. Stop looking for the resistance areas. Pay attention to the support areas. So when you see something like this, which it looks like, I can't be for certain, but I mean, it looks like it's going to start zigzagging slowly. You know, it does. Oil doesn't move crazy right now anyways. But when it does this, it always does that as well. Not always, but mostly. It mostly does that. And here we are again. It's just more entry points. That's it. If you want to take profit here, you could take profit here. If you bought up here, you got to be a little concerned. You need to watch for this. Don't buy on the highs, buy on the lows. Okay? So moving down to the 1 hour, we can, oh, sorry, let me just check something there. Excuse me. On the daily. So on the daily, we can see we went way oversold on both of them. That's a great sign, but it's gone way down now. So particularly if it goes below zero, that's definitely a sign that we might see maybe here, maybe here. It doesn't matter. If we see here or here, it's still bullish. We're just waiting for the break. We want to see this bounce a little more, hopefully, before we go setting an order above the break. But you know, we want to wait for that. So this is a time of waiting, and it could be a long time. This is a daily chart. By the time it zigzags slowly here, that could be 3 weeks from now. It could be 2 months from now. I don't know. So keep that in mind. Excuse me. The 1 hour chart, we can see a descending triangle. So that's a bearish signal. But if you follow along in the chat, then you would probably know that I, for the most part, ignore bearish signals, particularly on 1 hour and below. And I'm not going to get into why. We could talk about that another time, but I'm just going to ignore that. And I'm only going to pay attention to this and this. So breaks of these are good for me. Breaks of these, not so much. Break of that, and I might be concerned. Okay. 30-minute, we don't have to go this low, but I suspect we're going up here. It's hard to say if we really are. It might go like that, and like that, and then like that. It's just hard to say. I mean, on a very short term, it looks like we've broken something here, but stopped right on the Fibonacci level. So you see how it gets more difficult. More lines start to get drawn. I can draw so many lines. It's unreal. There's lines everywhere. If we pay attention to every single line, we'll never get anywhere. How are you going to trade? How are you going to know when this breaks? Look at, you're going to be like, oh, you can't break because that line's there. Or you can't get in because that line's there. Or you couldn't get in because that's there. You know, I could put a line right here. I could put a line right here, right with the Fibonacci. I can put a line right here. Like, it's just too many lines. So go back to the 4 hour, erase all those lines, and keep what's important. Anyhow, I hope this was helpful. Sorry about my voice. It's I'm losing it a little. I haven't been feeling well, so I'm getting a little better. So hopefully that wasn't too much of a problem. And please like, subscribe, and share this video, and have a great night.